Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to have a look at the Colt 45 Peacemaker made by Umarex. This particular pistol is limited edition and is one of 1,200 ever made. More importantly though, this was bought for my wife as it reminded her of her little cowgirl gun that she had when she was a child. I naturally saw this as an opportunity to further my collection. Always buy someone a present you would like yourself. The Peacemaker comes in a pretend looking wooden box, which certainly adds to the overall authenticity of this very iconic pistol. Whilst opening the box for the very first time, I was slightly surprised to see a tiny little bit of bubble wrap around the pistol. This left me a little disappointed in the immediate presentation of this fine looking gun, as it certainly offered little to no protection. This is not a cheap collector's item at over £220, so I was certainly expecting a little more than this. Shoved in the box is the safety guidelines and also the instruction manual. The literature was literally screwed up and thrown in the box. I was quite surprised at this. I purchased this pistol from Pellet, link in the description below, so I'm not sure if this was checked before it was sent out. If this pistol came directly from Umarex like this, then I'm quite disappointed, as Umarex are known for their good quality control. However, if it came from Pellet like this, then that's not good either, as they just had a quick look at it and shoved it all back in the box. Okay, let's go back to this being a positive review. The manual is clearly laid out and easy to follow. It also tells you how to change the barrel if you wish to fire BBs as opposed to 1.7 pellets, which is this particular variant. The 1.77 barrel is rifled, whereas the BB barrel is smooth. The full name of this pistol is the Colt 45 Peacemaker Single Action Army. This was originally made in a 38 caliber, but it was increased to 45 for stopping power, and originally came in 4 different barrel lengths: the 4.75 inch, which is known as the civilian or gunfighter version; the 5.5 inch, which is known as the artillery or army version that this one is based on; the huge 7.5 inch, which is known as the cavalry version; or the lesser known sub 4 inches, known as the sheriff's model, banker's special, or indeed the storekeeper. In this old photograph taken in 1874, you can see George Armstrong Custer with the Arikaara Scouts, and you can clearly see the Colt 45 pistol visible. Back to the review. This is the Smoke Wagon special edition version as mentioned before, with the unique number stamped on the side of the pistol. This is 186 of 1,200. To say this is a nice looking pistol is an understatement. It's literally very striking to look at. The gun is basically nickel plated with gold accents. The ivory handle is made of plastic, but it looks authentic, and within it is a pretend poker coin. This all adds up to be a very unique looking weapon. The pistol feels solid and weighty, and gives a feeling of robustness and quality, which works hand in hand with its good looks. The original Peacemaker never had a safety catch, but this one does, and is situated just forward of the trigger guard. When it's activated, it not only locks the trigger, but also your ability to pull the hammer back. The safety catch is very difficult to apply and also to take off, which makes you think twice about using the gun, which is a good safety feature in my opinion. As you pull the hammer back for the first time, it has a very definite click and well engineered feel about it. Very little energy is required to pull the hammer back. The hammer's not wobbly and it feels nice and secure. The hammer doesn't sit flush with the pistol, as this is to do with the CO2 mechanism, and is designed this way as there is no firing pin required. When I opened the box for the first time, there were no shells. However, I later found out that they were actually within the pistol itself. To remove or load the shells, you have to first pull the hammer part way back. This enables you to release the side door and therefore get access to the shells. To release the shells, you can do it one of two ways. The first way is to use the shell releasing ejector, which incidentally has to be lined up perfectly, but does certainly add to the authenticity and also the length of time required to eject the said shells. Or you can just simply rotate the cylinder housing and then just tip it upside down. The shells should just drop out nice and easily. I found myself floating between the two techniques, because if I was in a rush I wanted to just tip it upside down, or if I wanted to savour the moment, just use the ejector rod. When you handle this pistol, you realise how well engineered it is and how lovely it feels in the hand. When I purchased this, I believed that unloading and reloading might have actually been a pain, but I was wrong. It's all part of the enjoyment. Well, let's put that to the test as we load the shells for the first time with these 177 pellets made by Excite. This brings me back to the days of making your own ammunition, and allows you to savour the moment and inspect every element before you put it together. You load the pellet to the rear end of the shell, where there is a rubber ring with which to seat the pellet. It feels snug and certainly won't drop out. Just push it so it feels flush with the top of the shell with your finger, also making sure that the pellet is facing the correct orientation. Take your time with this process and thoroughly enjoy it, as I'm starting to believe that the whole experience of dealing with this ancient pistol should be savoured, and certainly not rushed. I experimented with different ways of loading, and I put the pellets on the table first, then put the shell on top. This works, but it doesn't seat the pellet where it should be on the shell itself. It doesn't run as flush. This didn't work for me, so I decided to go back to loading the pellets one by hand. which was much more enjoyable and made me feel happier. The 12-gram CO2 canister is contained within the grip, and this is easily accessed by a little groove underneath the grip itself. Using your thumb, it prizes up nice and easily. Contained at the bottom of the grip is the hex key, which is a brilliant idea because it means you're not fussing around trying to find it if you've lost it. Simply drop in the CO2 canister, and if it doesn't fit, then loosen up the screw underneath, and it should just easily pop in when it's the correct size. After it's dropped down and fully seated, it's now in position to be tightened up. I used my hand to hold the CO2 canister in position. This was my first time screwing it into position, and I wasn't sure if it was going to pop out. When you start to screw, don't stop and try and keep going through the whole process until you can't turn it anymore. This was an extremely uneventful process, as there was no drama, no leaked air, no noise, no damages, no nothing. It was very seamless. In fact, so seamless that I wasn't sure that it was connected at all and thought this must be an empty container, but it wasn't, because it felt nice and cold to the touch. Replacing the grip does take some care, as there's a small little bit of plastic at the very top that you have to be careful you don't snap off. When you've slipped that in at the top, then just click it into place. Testing the sound saw 113.6 decibels, directly in front of the barrel. The pistol weighs a total of 880 grams with the shells included. The barrel length is 5.5 inches. Total pistol length is about 11 inches. Total height is about 5 3/4 inches. Trigger pull weight is 1.5 pounds. Now to thoroughly enjoy myself by loading up the pistol one shell at a time. This is by no means laborious and completely enjoyable on every single level, as every movement you make is connected to the pistol and you enjoy the experience of the engineering. This somehow gets you totally immersed and emotionally involved in the shooting, therefore making you believe you're firing something other than an air gun. To improve upon this already awesome experience would be to have some sort of recoil mechanism of some kind, like we experienced on some automatic blowback pistols. The chronograph showed a maximum reading of 411 feet per second, and out of 40 shots I saw an average of 391 feet per second. Power dropped to 230 feet per second after 43 shots, and became noticeably unusable at 50 shots. Now to the farm to do some testing. The first target we set up was 11 meters. Both my son and I thought that food cans would be an ideal first target, and would be best suited for a revolver. The pellets seem to find their mark, even though it's becoming windy. Note to oneself, I should count all the shots. I'd already taken 6. Now to remove the spent shells and to reload those little lovely cartridges. I would suggest do this over a blanket, table or chair as I'm using here, as you're likely to lose something along the way. Next up for shooting is a traditional target, to get a rough idea of continual grouping. Again, this is 11 meters. This is the 6th shot coming up. So I have no idea why I'm instinctively doing a 7th shot. Maybe I'm trying to make sure that the gun is clear. I have absolutely no idea. Maybe it's just an age thing. My son wished to have a go, and he thoroughly enjoyed every aspect of the pistol, from the feel to the way it's shot. Well done. Any more shots in there?
Maybe.
He also experimented with the distance. These cans were lying around on the floor and they were about 13 meters away.
I think that's all of them, but I'll check again.
Okay. My son, unlike me, did count the shots. My son set up the target at 20 meters exactly and shot at it casually while sat down.
Aw.
He hit something.
Hit the table, I think. Not the one I was aiming for.
This pistol is good at a long distance, as my son is proving here, and this was in windy conditions. It also illustrates he has a very natural ability for shooting firearms. After returning to the farm, both my son and I thought it would be a good idea to get some extra shells, so I bought these from Amazon, link in the description below. These are made by Umarex and part of their Legends series, so they go in both pistols and also the rifles that they make, such as the Underlever Winchester. Comparing the two shells, there was nothing to choose between them apart from the colour. The Peacemaker shells are of a definite silver, whereas the ones in the package bracket here are brass coloured. Now to my final thoughts and conclusion. The cardboard box with which the pistol comes in looks good on the outside. When you open it, however, the pistol is not protected. The manual's container folded up badly and shoved in the side of the box. The pistol was pre-loaded with the shells inside, which to my mind doesn't promote safety, irrespective that they haven't got pellets in. It came across that there was very little care addressed to this lovely looking weapon, which is a complete contrast to what you'll experience with the pistol, as the pistol is absolutely wonderful and every aspect seems to be addressed beautifully. Even the gold cylinder looks absolutely fantastic from absolutely every angle and is a pleasure to rotate. The Colt insignia is clear yet subtle and is there to remind you that you're holding a classical piece of history. All elements of the pistol are put together beautifully, from the beautiful trigger weight and also the action of the hammer. Even the process of loading the shells is enjoyable. Even though the handle's made of plastic, it looks like ivory. The embedded poker coin also adds to its uniqueness. This is definitely one for the collection, and also it looks good on display. Furthermore, it's accurate and fun to shoot. I thoroughly enjoy making these videos for everyone, and if you can think of anything else you wish me to cover or something similar, then please let me know in the comments. I read every single comment and respond to them all. I'm now in the process of addressing some of the comments that people have suggested that I cover, and this includes crossbows, archery, rifles, other pistols, flashlights and knives and axes. The list is endless, but I'm happy to do it all. Remember to enjoy life, be kind and be safe. Until next time, see you again soon.